Happy greetings, everyone. I am Crystal Forman, the owner and educator of Holistic Wellness and Health, where we make healthy living easy, nutritious, delicious, and fun, with a focus on plant-based food and meditation to help you live a healthier, compassionate, and more vibrant life. Today, we are going to make some sautéed green tomatoes using some delicious locally grown produce, and we're going to go and get started right away. So I'm going to turn on my skillet here. And I have it on medium-high heat. So for those who don't know, there are different types of tomatoes. There are actually tomatoes that are green in color that are ripe. And then there are tomatoes that would normally turn red or orange, whatever color, if it were ripe. So these are not ripe green tomatoes. And you can kind of tell on this one, it's starting to get a little color on it, but it's still pretty firm. So I am going to actually get my oil in our frying pan. I'm using grapeseed oil like I usually do, but you can use avocado oil or another oil that does well on high heat. So we're going to get that in our pan, just enough to coat the bottom of our frying pan. And we're going to add in some diced onions. So if you're here with me live, say hi, let me know you're here in the comment section. I did put the recipe in the comment section, the link to the recipe, and that link will take you to holistic-wellnessandhealth.com/blog, and you'll see the recipes right there. Hey, Ms. Rodette, good to see you. So I'm going to put our onions right into our hot skillet. Just going to let that saute up, and while that is going, we can start chopping up our peppers. So there's a couple of sweet peppers here. This looks kind of like a hot pepper, but it's not. It's a sweet pepper. And then we have some bell peppers. I know I've talked to you all before about like the difference between a female and a male pepper. So this is the female. It has 4 lobes. Male pepper has 3. Female has 4 or more lobes. So we're going to use one of each. Female peppers tend to be a little sweeter. But for this recipe, it doesn't matter too much. Green tomatoes are actually more acidic than the red tomatoes. So, but once you cook it, that acid flavor goes away a little bit. So a lot of people, when we think of green tomatoes, we think of fried green tomatoes. But there are a lot of different recipes you can do with the green tomatoes. This time of year, as we're ending summer, going into fall, there will be a lot of green tomatoes available at the farm stands, farmers markets, and just in general, like in your CSA boxes. So I just want you all to know that you can do some easy dishes that are pretty quick as well. I'm just slicing up our bell peppers right now. I'm actually going to make like big slices here. You can leave some of the seeds in. The seeds actually have protein, so it's good to actually eat the seed from peppers. A lot of times people eat the seeds from hot peppers because that's where the spice is located. But you want to save some of those seeds even in your sweet peppers. Just zinc in the seeds as well. So our onions are looking good. I'm going to stir them in one moment. If anyone has any questions, definitely let me know. Thanks for putting the emojis in there for that. All right, so that's going nicely. I could leave them in strips like this, but I'm going to just turn them and kind of coarsely cut through it. And that make my face. We're going to go and get our peppers right in our oil and onions here. And while that is cooking, we're going to cut up our green tomatoes. So, while we're cut off the top, so just cut off the top here. Green tomatoes are a lot firmer, like they have a nice crispness to it. So they're a lot firmer than ripe tomatoes. Just going to cut around, use as much of this tomato as we can. And just slicing halfway through. And you can dice them. I'm actually keeping them pretty much like this. there's still a nice amount of water content, so I don't want them too small. You can make them small if you want it to be a little more tender for people who have a hard time eating firm things, but I actually want this to have some firmness to it. You can see this one is starting to get a little red in there, but it's still not ripe yet. So this is the larger one. I'm cutting this just a little more. Our tomatoes, our green tomatoes especially, are very high in vitamin C. So the red tomatoes are higher in lycopene than our green tomatoes here. And lycopene is great for our heart health, but our green tomatoes do have a lot of great health benefits, so you want to use all of that. And I just saw Odette put up a comment. Let me just check that in one moment. So what I'm going to do, the rest of these tomatoes, I've already had some ready to go. The rest of them in our skillet here. So I actually doubled the recipe, so it's going to have enough for my family for tonight and a little bit to for like later. So the recipe calls for 4 tomatoes. I actually put in 8 green tomatoes and a couple of bell peppers. Let's add our seasoning. Super simple. Salt and pepper. I have pink Himalayan salt, which has 84 minerals in it. You all know that's my favorite one to use. So just gonna put this in here and sprinkle it right on. And we're going to use apple cider vinegar. So for those who don't like vinegar, this vinegar flavor is going to cook off, so you're not going to taste it. But vinegar makes it easier to actually digest everything that's in here. So I'm just going to add that in. And you don't have to use as much salt when you use vinegar. So I'm just going to stir all of this together. We're going to get our lid on. I still have it on medium-high heat. This dish doesn't take too long to cook if you want it nice and crisp. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. If you want it softer, then you're going to cook it a little longer. I'm going to come and check the comments while this is cooking. Give me one moment. Right here. So, have it for you to try. Awesome. What kind of oil? I'm using grapeseed oil, but you can use any oil that does well on high heat. Like the avocado oil or even coconut oil if you want to use refined or unrefined. Totally up to you. How much apple cider vinegar? So I put in 2 tablespoons. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons. Even though I doubled it, I still left it at 2 tablespoons. I doubled all of the other ingredients. I might put a couple more tablespoons in if needed, but I don't think so. Still got nice moisture in there, and because I have the lid on, it's actually keeping a lot of the steam in, and I'm keeping all of the nutrients in there. But yes, the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of our apple cider vinegar, 4 green tomatoes, medium-sized green tomatoes. If you happen to have the cherry green tomatoes, which I have a lot in my yard right now, I'm actually thinking about pickling them, so I might do a video on that. But if I decide not to pickle them, because they're like kind of just cherry size, I'm just going to cut them in half. And then I can do the same thing and saute them. But I think I'm going to pickle some of them as well because they are like prolific right now. So this has been a really good tomato growing season apparently. So we'll see. So what else I put in? And for the recipe calls for 1 bell pepper, I used 2. And the recipe calls for bunching onions, which are also known as scallions or green onions or spring onions, lots of different names for the same thing. But I decided to use a whole yellow onion because that's what I had available from the farm. And yeah, I believe in using what you have. So it still tastes good either way. You can substitute with red onions. I've done this with red onions as well, and it turned out really well. So let's just check on this. I'm going to stir it up a little more. And so you can serve this with brown rice or quinoa. For tonight, I'm actually going to serve it with some quinoa for the extra protein. So it's totally up to you how you want to serve it. You can just eat it like this. I've done it where I've just eaten it in a bowl, just like this. Super simple. If you want to get fancy, you can add some other seasonings in here. Some of the seasonings I would recommend are curry. But just to change up the flavor a little bit. You can add some nutritional yeast in here as well. You all know I love the nutritional yeast. It has a lot of B vitamins, some fiber and protein as well. But yeah, it's up to you. If you all have any green tomato recipes that you all make, let me know in the comments, like what type of green tomato recipes you make, or that you like to eat if you don't cook, what type that you actually like to eat. And if you have pickled some green tomatoes, let me know that as well. I'm also planning on pickling some okra. So if anyone's interested in seeing a video on pickled okra, let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably just do it for myself because okra's been doing really well this year too. So just let me know in the comments those two things. Like I said earlier, the recipe, I have the link in the comments section on Facebook and on YouTube as well. So on YouTube, you just have to go to the comments section. Right now, it's like the chat is up because we're live. But once we go to, once it's not live anymore, you can just click on that link. And actually, I put it in the comments section of YouTube as well. So you should be able to find the recipe pretty easily. We have lots of recipes on the website. So if you do make this recipe or any of the other ones, make sure you take a picture and share it with me. Share it on social media and let me know that you made it. And I see a couple more comments coming in, so I'm going to check that, and then I'm going to show you all our dish. So let's see. Yes, do the okra. Okay. And will do. I've been eating a lot of okra this year, so it's yeah. I think I've eaten more okra this year than I have in the past few years combined. It's just been plentiful, and I actually like okra now. I didn't always like it, but I like it now. All right, so this is looking really good. Let me show you all. So this is still pretty firm. I'm going to let it cook a few more minutes. I think you all can see this. So this is done. So once again, Crystal Forman. I do health and wellness education videos as well as workshops in person and online. Make sure you have subscribed to our YouTube channel and check out all of the upcoming offerings we have. And make sure you check out the programs on our website at holistic-wellnessandhealth.com. If you have any questions, even in the replay, just make sure you tag me and say, hey, Crystal, I have a green tomato that's whatever. Just make sure you just tag me so I can actually see the comments. And I think that is it for me. So once again, we did broadcast on my personal page as well as our YouTube channel and our business page. If you have any questions, comments, like I said, just tag me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Peace and blessings, everyone, and you all take care.